Welcome! Today we have a very special Canadian friend here. You might know him and you probably do. This guy wearing the funny hat is ready to answer our questions. Mr. Devin Townsend.
Yes, sir.
The man behind the very own band name.
Yeah.
What is the story about backstage toilets?
Backstage toilets. Well, let's just start with my funny hat. I don't think this is funny. This is my Canadian identity being worn on the top of my head, and I'm very proud of it. Speaking.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No apology necessary, because I've seen some Finnish hats that are ridiculously funny. So we're together as one. And in terms of the backstage toilets, you shit on somebody else's shit, you piss on somebody else's shit, and then you wipe your ass and you throw it on a mound of some very famous people's shit. And for me, sort of in the mid-tier of fame, on this at least, not in general, but in terms of the Tuska festival, I'm proud to say I've shat on some very famous people's shit.
What is the most interesting toilet you've ever been taking that dump?
Let me think. The most interesting toilet? Well, I'd like to think that there is like a bit of elegance in every toilet, some subtlety in every toilet, but the ones in Italy tend to be very interesting because there's actually no toilet. It's just sort of a hole in the ground, right? And unless you're raised with that, your aim can be very dubious, as mine was. So the toilet became my trousers at that particular event.
So you're known for your toilet encounters on the social media. What's the story behind all this?
Well, I think humans are really funny, myself included, that we think we're clever, that we think we know anything. And I think that amidst all the existential bullshit and all the science and religion and politics and everything that everybody is clearly an expert on, there's this awareness that we're just a bunch of shitting primates. And I think for me, I find that really funny. And it's not that I've got like coprophilia or something. I mean, I think shit's gross. But I also think it's funny how it can kind of shut down almost any conversation due to the fact that it is just so vulgar.
So am I correct? No matter how smart you are, no matter what kind of religion or philosophy or whatever you have, you still basically have your basic needs: eat, shit, sleep, and so forth.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately the only things that are really important. I mean, all the rest of the stuff peripherally is important. I mean, music as a peripheral to that is important. But if things went south and we really had to deal with a disaster, music would be of very little significance in comparison to those basic needs, right? And I think what it is that I'm trying to do musically is always just try and get closer and closer to the source for me. And you know, whether or not I ever do is debatable, but I mean, that's my goal. So, you know, I mean, farts are funny, man. I'm sorry. It's like, it's funny how, you know, the more you make a big deal out of it, it becomes your identity. But it's just maybe that as well is funny. It's just...
Shit can be funny.
Sure. And it can also be really dumb, right? But I certainly don't claim to be smart or enlightened. So in the meantime, here's a bunch of shit pictures.
So smartphones and stupid people, right?
I think that's a good combination. Smartphones and stupid people. That would be actually a good description of the last 10 years.
What about... shit. Could you mentioned music and shit we were talking about?
You like it.
No, well, not particularly. But anyway, could you imagine doing a sort of a theme album or a song about all these toilet encounters or these basic needs that we just talked about?
I think I've done 30 records worth of that.
Is it all about shit?
I think it's all about whatever it is you want it to be about.
Ooh, that's really spooky.
Yeah. That's also me diverting the question. I don't think I'd have much of an interest in writing an album about shit. I just like to post pictures on Instagram of things like that because the label told me that in order to reach the kids, one has to be active on social media, and if you're active on social media, you need to find ways in which to sell yourself.
And you think shitting is that?
No. I just think it's if I have to do it because I have very little interest in selling myself, that the fact that it confuses people is great, because at least that way I can stay interested in it. I don't know how much interest I'd be able to sustain in saying, well, this is our new record and we've got this coming out and come visit us at backstage, and it's like,
That's boring.
It really is. It really is. I'm very happy to do music, and music for me comes from a place of things that are really important to me. But I mean, in terms of social media, like I don't care, which is great, because if I have to do it, then you can just fuck around, and you still have people that are like, you know, it's like, here's a dog fucking another dog, and they're like, that's great. And so I guess in that way, I'm active on social media for the kids.
So remember all the kids. But talking about your ways of music and expressing yourself, you are known for how to put it, very unique in the sense that you are not afraid to fool around. You are not afraid to make jokes of yourself, and you have a really good self-esteem in that sense that you just can do just whatever. And I think that's one of the reasons of your success. But am I right, or is just a poor man's guess?
I don't know how much. You're not poor. I mean, man, no, you're not poor. I think I failed a ton, and continue to fail a lot, and that makes it really easy for me to not care, because my goals are still, I want to make music. I want to help in some way. I don't want to add to the bullshit of the world. I'd like to make some music that maybe people could use to feel better, or get some of their aggression out or whatever. But I mean, I fucked up so many times in my life that I'm not afraid of fucking up, and that makes it really easy to not care, I think. But I care, but about the things that I care about. I think if you care about how you're perceived, I mean, we all do. I do still, of course. But I mean, if your motivations for doing art are rooted in worrying how people are going to think about you, rather than what is it that I feel like doing, what am I compelled to do right now, then I think it's your art's going to be laced with fear as well, because it's coming from a place of like, well, I'd really like to dance ballet, but it's not macho in this guy's eyes, therefore I'm going to take up mixed martial arts or something. I mean, it's if you're going against what it is that you're compelled to do for the acceptance of others, I don't think it benefits anybody, personally.
Wise words. Now we are running out of time, so one last question. Sorry for being so short.
Okay.
You just recently got a new video out. What's the story behind all that?
Which video?
God, I don't even remember the name.
Band, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it must have been Stormbending, where we did it. Had a group of dudes in Croatia that did a bunch of CGI. That was... What's the story behind it? I remember watching it at the end and going, Jesus Christ, is that me? I used to be 25. Now I look like my dad playing in a rock band. How the hell did that happen?
Canadian water?
Maybe that's what it is. It ages us. But on the plus side, I don't know if I can finish that sentence.
Well, that's a very, very good way to end this very atypical interview. Thank you for your time, and I hope that Tuska is treating you well and Finland is treating you well. What do you want to say to the kids who want to social media?
Kids on social media? What do I want to say to kids on social media?
They're watching you right now.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think the people who are watching right now are probably our age, man. Okay, kids on social media, drink plenty of water, go to bed on time, and don't watch too much TV, okay? Uncle Dev says good night.
These are very fine and wise words from the man who knows a lot, but isn't too, how to put it? I mean, he's a humble man about it, and we are really thankful for his wisdom, and we hope to see his adventures in a distant future as well. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more shit to come.